Welcome back, Reason Rebels! Today we're breaking down why Dragon Age The Veilguard is better than Baldur's Gate 3. That's right, we're putting the beloved RPG of the year on notice. Someone had to say it, and frankly, the dice rolls were taking too long. Let the debate begin. Action combat respects your time more than a dice roll. Let's be honest, who has time to watch a digital dice roll decide their fate for the 10th time in a single fight? The Veilguard understands that your time is valuable. Its action-based combat is slick, responsive, and puts you directly in control. When you land a hit, it's because of your skill, your timing, and your strategy, not because a random number generator smiled upon you. Baldur's Gate 3's turn-based system is a beautiful relic, a digital board game that can turn a simple goblin encounter into a 30-minute tactical slog. Missing a 95% chance to hit isn't strategy, it's a cosmic joke. Dragon Age gives you the power to create your own luck with every parry and spell, making every victory a thrilling, earned moment. BioWare's cinematic storytelling leaves Larian in the dust. BioWare crafts interactive movies. Larian documents a tabletop session with a very nice camera. Every conversation in Dragon Age is a masterclass in cinematic direction. The camera angles, the subtle character animations, the perfectly timed musical cues, it all works in concert to deliver a gut punch of emotion. You aren't just clicking through dialogue, you're participating in a scene. Baldur's Gate 3, for all its charm, often feels like watching two beautifully rendered mannequins recite lines at each other. The camera stays mostly static, the emotional beats sometimes landing with the grace of a dropped dice tray. Larian lets you witness a great story, but BioWare puts you right in the middle of a flawlessly directed epic, making you the star of your own personal movie. All right, pause the debate. You've heard our reasons, now we want yours. Drop your most savage, brilliant, or hilarious reason why the Veilguard is the true champion in the comments below. The best arguments might just get immortalized in a future Users Edition. Don't hold back. We're reading everything. Now back to it. Companions are deep characters, not just walking approval meters. BioWare writes companions who feel like real people with their own agendas, histories, and messy lives that don't revolve entirely around you. They have opinions, they argue with each other, and they'll call you out when you're being a fool. A friendship with Varric or a rivalry with Morrigan feels earned because it's a relationship between equals, not a simple transaction. In Baldur's Gate 3, companions can often feel like beautifully written, approval-seeking missiles. Did you do a good thing? Astarion disapproves? Did you do something slightly edgy? Shadowheart is intrigued. Their reactions are a game to be won. You can practically see the +5 approval text box floating over their heads. Dragon Age companions follow you out of loyalty or conviction, not just because you checked the right dialogue boxes. A world that actually remembers your choices across an entire saga. Baldur's Gate 3 gives you monumental choices that shape its world, and then the credits roll and the universe gets a hard reset for the sequel. Dragon Age plays the long game. The decisions you made a decade ago in Origins aren't just fond memories. They are historical facts that echo through to the Veilguard. Who rules Ferelden? Did you save the mages or side with the Templars? The state of your world is a unique tapestry woven from your personal saga, tracked through the brilliant Dragon Age keep. Larian built a stunningly reactive snow globe. Shake it up and it's amazing, but the story is contained. BioWare built a living history book where you are the author of every chapter, and the consequences follow you for years. It's not just choice, it's legacy. You are the hero from day one, not a tadpole's taxi service. From the moment you step into the world of Dragon Age, you are a figure of consequence. You are the warden, the champion, the inquisitor, a person with a title and a purpose that shapes the world around you. Your journey is about rising to a monumental challenge. Baldur's Gate 3, on the other hand, starts your epic adventure with a deeply personal, almost pathetic problem. You've got a worm in your head. Your initial motivation isn't to save the world, but to find a really good doctor. For a significant portion of the game, you're not a hero leading a noble cause. You're the unwilling chauffeur for a mind flayer parasite, assembling a support group of similarly afflicted individuals. Dragon Age makes you a legend. BG3 makes you a patient. Deep, original lore beats a licensed D&D campaign every time. Building a world from scratch is infinitely more impressive than renting one. BioWare meticulously crafted Thedas, a universe with its own unique history, religions, political struggles, and magical theory. The conflict between mages and Templars, the existential dread of the Blight, the mystery of the Fade, these are concepts born of pure creativity. Baldur's Gate 3, while a masterful execution, is playing in someone else's sandbox. It's constrained by decades of established Dungeons & Dragons lore. Githyanki, Mind Flayers, the Forgotten Realms, it's all fantastic, but it's borrowed genius. It feels like watching a brilliant cover band play the hits. Dragon Age is the groundbreaking artist writing original anthems, offering a sense of discovery that a licensed world, no matter how beloved, can never truly replicate. True world building is about creation, not adaptation. A focused narrative is better than a sandbox of endless, meaningless quests. Baldur's Gate 3 is a vast ocean of content, but how much of it truly matters? It's easy to get lost in a sea of side quests, delivering letters and hunting down lost trinkets until you forget what the main plot even was. Dragon Age prioritizes narrative cohesion. While offering plenty of exploration and side content, it ensures every major questline serves the central story, pushing the characters and the overarching plot forward. It's a curated experience designed to have maximum emotional impact, like a perfectly paced novel. BG3 feels more like a choose-your-own-adventure book, where half the pages are just charming, but ultimately irrelevant distractions. A tight, compelling story that respects your time will always triumph over a sprawling sandbox that confuses more stuff to do with a better story. The Veilguard is the future of RPGs, not a beautiful museum piece. Baldur's Gate 3 is a masterpiece of a bygone era. It perfectly polished the CRPG formula of the late 90s and early 2000s, creating the ultimate love letter to games like its predecessors. It's a gorgeous, interactive museum exhibit titled The Peak of Old School RPGs. The Veilguard, however, is looking forward. By blending deep, choice-driven storytelling with modern, fluid action combat, it's pushing the genre's boundaries. It recognizes that today's players want cinematic presentation and direct control without sacrificing narrative depth. Larian perfected the past, and we applaud them for it. BioWare is building the future, creating a new blueprint for what a blockbuster, story-driven RPG can be in the modern age. One is a monument, the other is a movement. A unique art style has more soul than generic fantasy realism. Walking through Baldur's Gate 3 is like looking at a stunningly rendered, technically perfect D&D art book. It's beautiful, but it's also familiar, a high-fidelity version of the generic fantasy aesthetic we've seen for decades. Dragon Age has a visual identity. From the stylized character designs to the ethereal glow of the Fade, Thedas has a look that is uniquely its own. It's art with a point of view, a style that evokes a specific mood and tells a story before a single line of dialogue is spoken. This gives the world a soul and a timeless quality that hyperrealism can never achieve. In 10 years, BG3's graphics will simply look dated. Dragon Age's art style will still look like Dragon Age. It's the difference between a photograph and a painting. Solas is a more compelling antagonist than a last-minute brain monster. Solas isn't just a villain, he's a tragedy. He's a friend, a mentor, and a lover who is so utterly convinced of the righteousness of his cause that he's willing to burn the world to achieve it. Your history with him makes the conflict deeply personal and morally complex. You understand his pain, even as you fight to stop him. The Netherbrain in Baldur's Gate 3, by contrast, feels like a final boss pulled from a monster manual in the third act. It's a massive, world-ending threat, sure, but it's just a big, evil brain. There's no personal connection, no moral ambiguity, no heartbreaking betrayal. It's a problem to be solved, not a character to be reckoned with. A villain you once loved is infinitely more terrifying than a monster you just met. Gameplay you can understand without a 300-page player handbook. Baldur's Gate 3 is a faithful adaptation of D&D 5th edition, which is great if you're a tabletop veteran who can recite spell slot progression tables in your sleep. For everyone else, it's a crash course in arcane acronyms and convoluted mechanics. What's an action surge? What's the difference between a bonus action and an action? Get ready to have a wiki open on your second monitor. The Veilguard is designed to be intuitive. Its systems are built for a video game, not a rulebook. You learn by doing, not by studying. Character progression is clear, combat is immediate, and you can focus on the role-playing without feeling like you need to pass a proficiency exam first. It's deep without being needlessly dense, respecting your intelligence rather than testing your patience. Emotional stakes are higher when they aren't based on random numbers. In Baldur's Gate 3, a pivotal, heart-wrenching conversation can be derailed by a bad dice roll. You can have the most persuasive argument, the perfect line of reasoning, and then a natural one. Suddenly, your character sounds like an idiot, the moment is ruined, and the outcome feels arbitrary. Dragon Age roots its critical moments in your established choices, character, and relationships. When a companion betrays you, it's because of a long, simmering ideological conflict, not a failed persuasion check. When you succeed in rallying an army, it's a culmination of your actions throughout the game. The Veilguard lets your journey define your success, ensuring that the most dramatic moments are the earned result of your role-playing, not the fickle whim of a digital die. True drama is authored, not randomized. It's a game built for modern players, not just tabletop purists. Baldur's Gate 3 is a love letter to the D&D community, a niche within a niche that happened to break into the mainstream. But at its core, its design philosophy is rooted in the slow, methodical pace of a tabletop session. It demands you learn its arcane rulebook and embrace its sometimes punishing randomness. The Veilguard is built for a broader audience. It understands that modern players value cinematic pacing, intuitive controls, and gameplay that feels immediately rewarding. It doesn't sacrifice depth, but it presents it in a package that's accessible and exciting from the first minute. BioWare isn't trying to replicate the experience of sitting around a table. It's using the latest technology to create a dynamic, forward-thinking, interactive experience that welcomes everyone, not just those who already know what Thaxio means. Finally, an RPG that isn't primarily famous for romancing a bear. Let's face it, when the dust settles, one of the most enduring legacies of Baldur's Gate 3 will be that one infamous druid scene. It became a viral marketing moment, a meme, a bizarre footnote in gaming history. Dragon Age, meanwhile, is famous for its actual storytelling. It's known for the gut-wrenching moral dilemma of the Landsmeet, the shocking reveal of Solas' identity, and the complex political intrigue of Orlais. Its romances are legendary because they are emotionally resonant character arcs. Garrus, Alistair, Morrigan, not because of their shock value or meme potential. The Veilguard continues a legacy of mature, compelling narrative that creates headlines for its plot twists and character development, not just for its interspecies dating options. It's about substance, not sensation. A user interface designed for fluid gameplay, not a spreadsheet simulator. Playing Baldur's Gate 3 can sometimes feel like you're managing an Excel spreadsheet full of spells, inventory, and character sheets. The hotbars multiply, the radial menus sprawl, and a simple action can require navigating a labyrinth of icons. It's a functional but often cumbersome system born from the complexity of D&D. The Veilguard is poised to deliver a UI built for speed, clarity, and action. Drawing from BioWare's legacy, the interface is designed to keep you in the moment, making it easy to unleash devastating combos, direct your companions, and manage your abilities without getting bogged down in menus. It's the difference between driving a high-performance sports car with a sleek dashboard and piloting a cargo plane where you have to manually check 100 different gauges before takeoff. Your protagonist has a voice, a personality, and an actual presence. The silent protagonist of Baldur's Gate 3 is a blank slate, a vessel for the player. While this offers freedom, it also creates a weird disconnect where your character just stares blankly while epic events unfold and companions pour their hearts out. In Dragon Age, your hero is an active participant. Whether it's the snarky charm of Hawk or the determined authority of the Inquisitor, a voiced protagonist brings the character to life. They have a personality that you shape, and their delivery adds weight and emotion to every line. They feel like a real person at the center of the story, not just a floating camera with a sword. It makes for a more engaging, cinematic, and emotionally resonant experience when the hero of the story actually speaks. The story is about saving the world, not just curing your personal headache. Baldur's Gate 3 starts as a surprisingly selfish quest. Your primary goal, for a huge chunk of the game, is to get a parasite out of your brain. Saving the world is almost a side effect of your personal medical emergency. Dragon Age stories, by contrast, begin with a world-shattering crisis. You aren't just recruited, you are thrust into the center of a conflict that threatens nations and existence itself. You are fighting the Blight, quelling a Mage-Templar war, or closing a tear in the sky. The stakes are epic from the outset, giving your actions a sense of monumental importance. It's a grander, more heroic fantasy. The Veilguard continues this tradition, putting you in the role of a savior, not just a patient looking for a cure. A curated, handcrafted experience is always superior to choice paralysis. Baldur's Gate 3 offers a staggering amount of freedom, letting you kill almost anyone and approach quests from a dozen different angles. While impressive, this often leads to a disjointed narrative and choice paralysis. You're so busy exploring every possibility that the story's momentum grinds to a halt. Dragon Age offers meaningful choices within a masterfully paced, handcrafted narrative. BioWare acts as an expert dungeon master, guiding you through a gripping story with dramatic twists and turns, while still allowing your decisions to have a massive impact. It's the perfect balance of player agency and authored storytelling. Instead of getting lost in a sandbox, you are on a thrilling, focused adventure where every moment is designed for maximum impact. It's quality over quantity, and the story is all the better for it. The real magic is in the character writing, not just the spell effects. Baldur's Gate 3 has some fantastically written characters, but the game's systems-driven nature often steals the show. The most memorable moments for many are about clever spell combinations or exploiting environmental effects. It's a game about what you can do. Dragon Age has always been about who you're with. The franchise's enduring legacy is built on the strength of its characters and their relationships. People don't talk about a clever trap they set in Origins. They talk about Alistair's sacrifice. They don't reminisce about a cool spell combo in Dragon Age 2. They argue about Anders' final act. The Veilguard continues this tradition, understanding that the most powerful magic in an RPG isn't a fireball, it's a perfectly written line of dialogue that breaks your heart. It doesn't need a 20-sided die to be a true role-playing game. There's a strange purist belief that an RPG isn't true unless it's shackled to the mechanics of tabletop gaming. Baldur's Gate 3 leans into this, making the dice roll the star of the show. Dragon Age proves that role-playing is about embodying a character and making choices that shape a story, regardless of the underlying math. The Veilguard lets you define your hero through dialogue, action, and consequence. Your success is determined by the alliances you forge and the decisions you make, not a random number. By freeing itself from the literal translation of tabletop rules, Dragon Age creates a more fluid and immersive form of role-playing, one that focuses on the character and the story, which is the entire point of the genre. It's an evolution, not just a simulation. Dragon Age sets new trends instead of just perfecting old ones. Baldur's Gate 3 is the greatest CRPG of 1999, miraculously released in 2023. Larian took a beloved, classic formula and polished it to an impossible shine, creating the definitive version of a game we've been playing for decades. It's a breathtaking achievement in preservation. Dragon Age, however, has never been content to just polish the past. From Origins, which defined the modern cinematic RPG, to the Veilguard's fusion of narrative depth and high-octane action, BioWare has always been a trendsetter. They aren't just perfecting the rulebook, they're writing a new one. While BG3 was busy creating the world's most beautiful and intricate horse-drawn carriage, Dragon Age was building a spaceship. One is a tribute to history, the other is a blueprint for the future. And that's the final word. Thanks for watching us settle this epic debate. The war isn't over though, it just moves to the comments. Drop your own reasons down below and keep the fight going. If you enjoy watching sacred cows get tipped over, consider